He's probably trying to host us or however that works. Do I need to unhost
He's got to
this?
go over there. Yeah, go ahead and hit unhost.
We'll mess up Chuck's stuff.
He can handle it.
170. Okay, so blah blah blah. All right, yeah, so we should be good. In theory, we should be good.
In theory, we are online.
Yes.
Ah, James Lewis.
Now, does that mean he's in the stream at the moment, or?
Well, okay, maybe with that. Yeah, he just followed us now. He's probably in the stream.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's not
propagated yet.
Yeah. Who can say?
Who can say? But yeah, I haven't seen James.
Great sauce. Can you hear us good? Have
See
seen
it?
James in forever.
Yeah. I always like talking to him. Oh, hey, look.
90s. Sweet. Excellent. So we are actually.
We are live and kicking.
And you can see and hear us. So we got Davis over here on Skype. He obviously won't be on the stream today, but Davis Chenault, he co-wrote Castles and Crusades, Player's Handbook, author of Isaiah and whatnot, and he and I both are kind of news junkies, so he's giving a constant flood of news, and he's Skyping me right now.
I see that. The numbers exploding. I thought he was talking about our numbers. Oh. I was really happy.
That was
now,
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can't get him to join the stream. What would the address be here? How's it going, Mono Green Player?
Twitch.tv/TrollGame.
So would I need to do all that HTTP crazy?
I hope that he can figure that out.
I cannot.
Open up a new tab and open up Twitch.
All right. We're going to start in a moment.
We're just trying to
see if we can't get Davis to join us. He's up in the mountains. His internet's poor, so probably not.
It's about like mine.
Yeah, you guys have had a rough 3 or 4 days, and I think with everybody home, we are live on Twitch.
Come join it.
Does he have to have an account for that?
Oh, he's got an account. Yeah, he's got an account.
What is this thing called?
That's chat. The stream chat.
The stream chat.
You see where up there it says stream chat? I think that's what that's called.
I do not. I don't look at things as exhausting.
It is cool. There we go.
Let's see. Create there. That. We should be back. And I think someone said I don't see a Dr. Pepper. There's a couple on my desk and one fixing to get into my hand in just a minute. And tonight's going to be interesting. The game is from 6 to 9, is that right?
Yeah.
We're doing Discord.
Discord through Twitch. Well, on Twitch, but we're going to be doing it on Discord.
So I'm going to be looking here, and
you won't have to do hardly anything.
Okay.
Don't you worry. We'll get you.
There's nothing I can mess up.
No, we need to get it eventually set up so you can feel more comfortable doing your virtual thing. We get the little whip and you get it set up. You can have your screen and you can wander around, and I think it'd be a good show.
I used to carry all these when I did my games at GaryCon and GameholeCon. There would be 25 people, and I had a whip that I would carry and walk around and beat myself. What is that called?
Flailing?
Flagellation?
Flagellation,
Not
yeah.
flagellation.
No, please, none of that.
None of that, but flagellation.
Yeah.
Looks like a Devon Rue map in the background. So they might be looking on the GaryCon if it's hosting over there. They've got
that's right.
𝚃𝚘𝚕𝚔's map of the Lake Geneva Convention, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. Oh, you mean on behind us in the background? Oh, gotcha. I'm a little slow.
That's okay.
That is the original pencil cover for the Castles and Crusades, Monsters and Treasure. And the blue Duma Flacha you see there is G2, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons module by Gary Gygax. The Glacier Rift, of course, and that's the only thing I ever had signed by Gary. And beneath that is Mark Allen's Troll. He did this troll word for us years ago, and it's my favorite. It's my favorite picture of troll lords that we've ever done. I actually used it yesterday to make an icon for myself on Discord.
Oh, did you really? You made your own?
Yeah.
I didn't even find it.
I got on Discord for like 10 minutes, talked to Harry, I think. Perry, wasn't it? Somebody, I can't remember who I was talking to. And it jibber-jabbered for about 10 minutes before I had to go back to Egypt and work on that.
Good.
Work on the Codex Egyptium, which is turning out to be a great. I mean, it's been a good book, but it's taking shape slower than I thought. It wasn't me. If it wasn't Perry, I don't know.
That might have been Wayne.
Chantel.
Oh, Chantel.
Chantel, because she sent some kind of those little troll-like figures, troll dolls in the 80s.
They had the little hair. Yeah. You put them on a eraser or something.
She sent that over and told me that should be my icon.
Oh.
But it was not. All right, so here's the Dr. Pepper. Davis is going to try to see if he can join the stream, but we don't know if that's going to be.
Yeah, we'll see if he can at least get in and chat. He can do that. He just won't necessarily be able to hear what we're talking about at the time. Let's see. So he's reading what Tucker's saying on Skype.
Well, thank you, Dark Light. I have to say, of all the stuff, Castles and Crusades art, my favorite is Peter Bradley's the Player's Handbook Standard Edition, the one that's got the knight with the sword fighting the demon devil. I absolutely love that piece. That piece is fantastic. Yeah. Peter did it. I asked him. He had done like 2 versions of stuff for that cover, and I tried to make corrections and say, hey, can you do this? And then he got irritated with me, as he frequently does, and just drew it, painted it, sent it over, and it was absolutely brilliant. I love that piece. Absolutely love that piece. The movie cut thing, whatever it's called. What do you mean?
It's like so far I've trouble picking on it. It's like the movie cut thing, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah. Yeah, what is that one? So the stills, so like you do storyboards, you got storyboard, cells. So you got storyboards that you draw the movie out on, and then you got stills that are just like if it's animated, this is the still that something like that. But yes, it hasn't officially got woohoo! Too much Dr. Pepper for my pancreas is probably what that is. What can you do? You're down there working.
Well, this
hard.
is con time, right? Remember when we go to a con, you sort of lax your rules.
I got to drink more. Yeah, I got quite a few rules to drinking Dr. Pepper. I gotta, like Tim said, I gotta break them apart at cons because it's the audio crack. It's a lot. Hectophonic, no problem. That thing is beautiful. It's going to look great when we're done. Of course, Benoit has a lot of the book kind of laid out, not laid out, but the way he wants it to look when it's laid out. So we've got a very nice trail to follow that he's built for us. And as soon as he green lights the edits, and I can't imagine him, he's had the flu for a couple of days, but I can't imagine him not green lighting them in the next few days. And if not, I'll push him. And I think once I turn it over to Peter Bradley, because we got art, maps, and the manuscript minus the appendixes, it's not going to take very long at all. And we'll get you guys a digital copy as soon as his maps, his maps are beautiful. But as soon as we can, we're going to roll that thing out. Now, the print copy will be later. Once the dust from Virtual GaryCon settles and we get Codex Egyptium into layout, we got to do an assessment on the lost city of Gaxmore, and then we will dive into Memorial Tomb, and then it'll start slowly getting turned over to Tim as he brings it in the backer kit. Well, you've already got it on backer kit.
I have it on backer kit right now, but
we'll get it. It's coming. I want it all done by summer. Would be nice. That would be very, very nice. So everybody's got those books in hand and are killing each other. Well, not literally killing each other.
Right.
Killing your characters and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know yet, we've not finalized anything, but you'll be able to purchase it through the Troll Lord website and all of that. I think you'll see the whole thing kind of roll in. Gaxmore will be there too for 5th edition. So lots of good stuff, an absolutely monstrous amount of good stuff coming our way. Hold on, that's nothing. Do that, put that down. So yeah, it'll all be kind of rolling out. Didn't know the Historical Codex has had adventures with it. Yeah, someone asked a question that we need to dive into. I missed it. It was about the F series.
Oh yes, that's a little bit. There it is. Talon did.
They technically are not. Brian Young wrote those, and they're technically not in Aird, but we're looking at kind of redoing that whole line. There's also the line, the Hell line that goes with the Codex Nordica. and there's 6 more in that series, and there's 2 more sitting on the desktop that need to be fixed and got out. So what I want to do is kind of sit down and revisit that whole thing and see what we can't do. But each of those books needs to have, like most of our independent modules needs to have a continuous connection to AIRD in one way or the other. If for no other reason than to allow the Tim and the World Anvil crew to get it on the World Anvil a little bit more logically.
Right. That would be good. I think everything should be in there. That would make it a lot easier.
It would be awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah. So we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Can't we just do a word search, find and replace?
Yeah, there you go.
Wherever it is, we just put in Dr. Gold.
Well, yeah, I think it's Norway. I don't know. Denmark. I'm not sure. Well, the F series actually takes place nowhere. It's not attached to anything or setting. It's just kind of I can't remember. It's been too long now. But we'll get all of that reintegrated, like the Haunted Highlands with Casey, and we've been talking to Casey with quite a bit. So we're going to get all that kind of rolling. We got a busy year going. The Trollwards have their own.
Was the F series or the historical codices? I'm not sure what you're asking, Darklight.
So the F series, we're sort of redoing the historical codices now. The Codex Ältarum is coming out soon, and the Codex Egyptium will come out. And the Codex Nordica is almost sold out. As it sells out, we're going to kind of redo it, clean it up, lay it out in a different way that's more presentable. And then as each book sells out, which will not be long from now, we're going to fix each one of them. And I know that Brian is working on the Chinese Codex.
Right.
The Chinese mythology. So, and that'll be coming out pretty soon. Well, later this year. Yeah. we got a full plate at the moment. Yeah. Well, so the historical codices, probably not so much as you're thinking. So they won't be the F series will be tied to AIRD and allow you to use it whether in AIRD or not. But the codices will be just kind of standalone books. Now that said, Davis and I are working on the Planescapes, a Planescapes book for Castles and Crusades in general, and part of the things we're going to do is rely very, very heavily on those codices to give you those planes that are associated with that particular mythology, and those will be equated in the Planescapes book with AIRD in one capacity. So if it's Elysium, what is Elysium in AIRD? So Elysium would be the Stonefields in AIRD, and that'll allow you to kind of play all of that stuff however you want to do that. But we're definitely, the Codex, the Planescape book will definitely have that, and it's one of the things that Tim and I have been working on is shifting, not making everything Castles and Crusades necessarily AIRD, but making things that we do in Castles and Crusades tied to AIRD in some way, so that AIRD becomes more the official campaign setting. We've never really had an official campaign setting, but it becomes a little bit more.
Yeah, it's been the de facto, but not really the.
Right. You certainly can play Castles and Crusades and do anything you want with it. Play in any Greyhawk, it doesn't matter. Forgotten Realms, whatever. Eberron, it doesn't matter. It's a system neutral setting, but for our published adventures and whatnot, we're going to start tying that more and more to AIRD. Just bringing it all together, especially since we're starting to roll some fiction out and bring this whole Walking Jawed package.
Right. Which is true about the fiction. And we have, I decided I'd plug this, and hopefully Chuck can go ahead and put that in there about we're giving away the PHB and House of God right now on our homepage.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so we know that a lot of folks have been, I guess we're sort of quarantined here in Arkansas.
Yeah, well, I mean, someone pointed out that you and I should probably be 6 feet away.
Oh, that's right. So we're not very smart.
No.
We're not very good at that whole thing. But, yeah, so a lot of people are locked up in their homes, and we know it, and it gets kind of, a little old sometimes. And now we're getting rumors, I know Tim is experiencing this, that the internet's getting choked out. There's so much, usage, so there's going to be a couple more weeks of inconveniences and troubles and some tragedies for some people, but for the most of it, it's just going to be a bumpy road. And to help you guys through it, we put up on the website, right? You can go on the website. You can go to troller.com and you can download the Castles and Crusades Player's Handbook, digital format, obviously, and download a print book.
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
You can, sort of.
I guess you can get it.
3D.
3D.
You get
that would be awesome.
to go our bookstore.
There you You can download the Player's Handbook and start playing tonight. Obviously, everything you need to know. If you don't know this, C&C is a role-playing game. It uses the OGL, insanely simple. Everything you need to play is in the Player's Handbook. Download it, get started playing. And with that, there's a series of short stories that I wrote about Ulrich Gunshop, a couple of adventures that he has, and then he meets Ava, this ranger from the Darkened Fold, and then there's more adventures. So there's a little bit of fiction for you guys to read. It's free, no strings attached. Just go download it and enjoy. I think we've moved 2,000, 3,000
like
downloads.
That. It's been amazing, and I love seeing the fiction get in people's hands. I do enjoy reading those.
I'm glad. That's good. We got more coming too. Lots of fiction coming out that. If you aren't worried about adding too much canon to the aired settings, that so much of the world outside of the lands of Ursula is untouched. I don't mess too much with the stuff beyond the lands of Ursula. When I write, if I do, it's ancient history type stuff. So I don't, it leaves what's going on in those areas up to whoever buys the book. And that's one of the nice things about aired. When we wrote it, when we designed it and put it out, it's really designed for you to take it and run with it. Even when we do new printings and we're going into a third printing, we don't change the timeline. I'm not going to advance it 20 years and rewrite all that stuff. Because I'm assuming that you guys have campaigns that you've been running in it, and if I redo it, it's just going to wreck your campaign situation. Yeah, no, it's not good. It's uncool. And then if it doesn't match or you think it's weird or whatever, it just, it doesn't leave a good taste. So the canon that you see will be more details, and you're going to see this a lot on World Animal. You'll see more details coming out on regions of air. We've got the Darkened Fold is covered in the Gotland now and stuff like that. So you'll see more detail on that, and I'll be shifting a little bit more towards fiction. And if you read the House of God, the one that's free on the website, you'll see what I'm trying to do in writing this stuff is create characters that you recognize from an RPG, but put them through scenarios that you don't recognize. You might understand that they're fighting this demon, but it's not openly, I'm a wizard casting a spell, that type of stuff. So they're good reads, I think. I think they are.
I like them a lot. They can read as for a gamer or not a gamer. That's what I like about it. Fits both people. Anybody that wants to pick it up. Good story. It has a good line. You and I have talked about how that you might do some more linear stuff or change where you've got these small bits and pieces.
Right.
But the overall timeline of it might become more congealed.
I need to tighten that up a little bit.
I mean, just if you're going to continue it, I like.
Yeah.
I like that sort of bit because you could potentially write a novel about it, but also have these ancillary parts that are tied into it.
Right. And that's one of the things that I actually thought I had done, but I guess I did this in that other book, the novella. Something. I can't. Castle of Spires. In that one, at the beginning of each chapter, there's this little italicized paragraph that tells you what happened in the last chapter. And I'm going to kind of retool a little bit so that as these stories go forward, you can tell what happened. Because in my head, there's a linear thing, but
that's often what happens, though, right? You know it.
Yep.
So, that's what I do with my wife all the time. I assumed I told her I was.
Right, exactly.
I didn't. So before you go in, I'll just say it here. Thank you guys for following us, and we would love to have anyone watching give us a follow. We'd really appreciate it. We've got it's blowing up today with all the hosting, so we're really hoping to reach out to more fans. So thank you guys for that.
Yeah, appreciate the follow. Douglas, last laugh, absolutely. You bring that night. You can. If you're in the game, you can play it definitely. It's going to be bumpy as I slowly convert my Wagoneer driving self into the into the modern era, and we'll see how this goes.
Kicking and screaming.
Yes, kicking and screaming and whining all the way.
I wonder, have you noticed that you can bump that up? You can see more of it.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to do is, what do you mean? Bump
no,
that?
I mean,
this? No,
like
never.
Right there.
I just made it worse.
Yeah, you did, but
see what happens when you tell me to do things. Wait.
Never mind, I'll show you later. But
see, now I don't have a chat.
Oh no, we're gone.
You're gonna have to fix that.
All right.
So I just wrecked the chat room, as is. For those of you who join us on Thursdays and Tuesdays, I do Twitch shows. I don't know what these things are called. I'm on Twitch Tuesday at 4 and Thursday at 8, talking about Jim's Tricks of the Trade.
There we go.
And I am constantly causing technological problems.
Now it's been flipped, right?
Yeah, but my brain will have to.
We can do that, but see, you get to see a lot more of it. You don't have to scroll up and then you pause and
got
scroll.
it. But see, now I lost the question. Okay, no, so we were here. That's good, like freedom to add my own stuff. Got to ask, though, where did the name Lands of Ursel come from? Such an odd name. It seems like it should have history behind it, probably related to bears.
That's a good point, yeah.
So what I started doing in creating the world of Aird, I borrowed heavily. I was studying when I began actually writing the whole thing. Barry, I broke something again. I was in the world's conception comes from a game that I've been running for 20-odd years. And then I wrote a novel when I was in the Army because I was stationed in Hawaii and bored off my skull. So I wrote a novel called The Voiceless Song, and from that novel, the world actually kind of sprang to life, and I began kind of developing it. Now, I borrowed, after the Army, I go back to school, and I'm doing my master's program, and I'm studying German heavily because my focus is on Austro-Hungarian 19th century history. And I'm taking lots of German classes. Now, I have since forgotten all of my German. I remember almost none of it. But it spilled over into my writing, into the creating of the world. I was doing that while I was kind of writing this stuff for the games that we were running, and so there was a heavy German influence. Now, once we started publishing, I had to start backing off quite a bit because we got a couple of emails back in the woebegone days, and of, hey man, this is, I know it sounds cool for you, but this is just, Pickles Gap for us, or whatever. So I began to back off the German, and at that point I began to create the Dwarven language, and I've got a dictionary that's about 15 or 16 pages long, and as I start creating words for things, I start basing them on root words and on nouns and all this other stuff. So Ursel actually comes from a combination of two words, I believe, and I'd have to open all that mess up and look at it. But it's a name that I created that goes with the dwarves that lived in the fortress of Ursel, which was there on the Sea of Chenault, and then they built that bridge, and it's called the Ursel Bridge. The dwarves call it the Ursel Bridge, so that is why the Lands of Ursel is actually called the Lands of Ursel, because that bridge, which is now in ruins, connected the lands of Enotia and Ythrun together, and it just collectively became Ursel.
Like Budapest.
Like Budapest, yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the nice things about Aird is I've tried to bring that stuff over so that it's got a lot of depth to it when you're playing. Yeah. Excellent. Elisa's here. Hey, Elisa, how's it going? Thanks for joining us here on GaryCon. Wait, what are we doing? We're GaryCon 12.
Right.
Virtual.
Yeah. And we're doing Soul Talk, past, present, and future.
Oh, yeah, we're supposed to be talking about role-playing games. Yeah. I forgot all about that.
Oh, we were.
That's true.
Talking about Aird.
Well, I'll be joining you on Sunday, I think, Elisa. We'll dive in and talk about your insanely beautiful maps. Elisa there has her own Twitch stream.
Well, channel.
Yeah. Definitely. Hey, Chuck, if you could put that, link that up in there, so people can hop over there and give her a follow. You get to see some of the most beautiful maps. In fact, if you've gone to the GaryCon,
thanks, Darklight.
If you've done anything on GaryCon, if you've gone on the website or the Twitch feed over there, you're going to see Elisa's map. Absolutely stunningly beautiful. She mapped out the Lake Geneva Hall, and it's part of the whole thing. They would have been selling it there at the con, but fate intervened. And here we are. This is what's going on. Yeah, sadly, Douglas, that's the way that usually plays out. So there's Elisa's channel. Definitely check Elisa out and give her a follow. So this panel is supposed to be about selling RPGs in the past and today, and the way it's looking like it's going to be in the future. We've done this panel, I guess, 2 or 3 times at Gamehole, GaryCon. Normally there's a whole bunch of us. It's Tim and me, and Mac was there last year, and David, Todd, and Jason Bay was there as well. But clearly that didn't happen for whatever reason. Yeah, fate intervened, and we do the dance that we do. But Drollard Games is in a relatively interesting position in the publishing and printing industry because we started the company in 1999, and we did our first print jobs with a Canadian printer in the year 2000, and we've worked on through to the birth of PDFs and beyond the PDFs and into what we are now with World Anvil and RPG,
Battleground, and Roll20, RPG,
RPG something, I don't know.
Astral, we're gonna get on Astral too.
Yeah, I can't. There's so many things going on. What did you say to me the other day? We had done a Twitch stream a couple weeks ago, and Tim and I, of course, Skype all day as we were working, and you said something like, all you wanted was a horse and a print RPG or something like that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want a horse, a book, and I just want to sit on it.
And so we're way beyond that, apparently. And, for good or ill, this coronavirus has thrown us all onto the virtual world quite suddenly. And if you weren't here, you're here now because it's just the way it played out. And it's working well, actually.
I think it's working well. I mean, it gives us a chance to talk to more people.
Yep.
And everybody can see this. One of the things that we were talking about this has affected has been, restaurants and other things, but also like bands. You think for an instance, you can't have a gathering, so your bands that were going on tour.
Wow, yeah.
I have that band like Adam Ezra group.
Yeah.
I follow them. We go to the conference when we're in New England and all this, but they can't tour anymore. So he's getting online every night and doing a show.
That's been popping up in my feed.
Probably because that's been on my feed. Yeah. And so that for a while there they were getting together and doing it, but then they decided they needed to disperse, and now they're bringing people in and talking. But he has a concert every night, and he's getting to have more people out there than he would touring live.
Normally.
Again, it kind of screws up the feed. You don't get that immediate feedback of the crowd and everything else, kind of like you do at the games and stuff. But it allows more people to kind of see them because they're sort of forced into this. So it's bad, but it also brings sort of a new community. Well, new for us. I mean, really, a lot of people do a lot of this online all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's most of them are younger generally than the RPG audience.
Yeah.
But, I mean, and this is really dragging a whole host of us onto this platform, and we're discovering that it's not that hard, and it's not that uncomfortable, and it's not whatever, and we're all just kind of doing the same thing we were before, which is really what we're seeing happening in the RPG industry as it shifts into this extraordinarily different. I mean, when you go back to I started in 1977, give or take a few months, somewhere around there. And you're playing with little pieces of paper with these tiny little books and rolling these old, those very soft dice that wore away very fast.
Yeah.
This high-tech dice, character reference sheets and screens, and kind of the evolution of the game as it just more and more, it changed. It's changed every 5 or 6 years. The way we play has changed quite a bit to this modern era where it's really, for good or ill, this virus has sent us, spiraling into this new approach. But we were already headed that way.
Right.
Things like Netflix and Hulu and Apple TV and it's just, I used to go to the movies. Mac and Todd and I and Davis, if he was in town, we'd go every Sunday night. Every Sunday night, 9 o'clock, we were at the late show. It didn't matter. We were just watching a movie. And we don't do that anymore. It's a lot easier to do it at home now.
I know.
And you got a big-ass TV. And
the one thing I'll say about that, it's funny, I was talking with my wife the other day, it's like, we don't ever watch anything all the way through. Like, I don't watch a movie. My attention span has gone so down. It's like a 22-minute show. And I'll stop it like 7 or 8 times so I can watch IMDb figure out who somebody is, go to the restroom, get something to eat.
Yeah.
So it's sort of disjointed, but we tend to do like most of the country's doing now, and binge watching. Like, you got us to watch Big Fan. We did that, in like 3 weeks. We just sat there, and that would be our evening thing. Yeah. And I really enjoy it. I know you like to go to the movies. I never really liked to go to the movies.
No, you've never been to movies.
No.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I've even gotten to where when I'm watching the movie, I'll pause it. I'll watch like 30 minutes. Exactly. I'll watch 30 minutes of a movie, and then the next day another 30. It's like a TV show. I just turn it into a TV show.
Yeah.
It's changed. The things that we do are changing, and we're watching it change now. And PLG has been in that kind of position where we've lived through it industrially through the changes of everything.
Yeah.
Because when we first started this business, we did 4 little bitty books, and we sent them to a Canadian printer, and there was a bunch of negotiations. We actually did 3, and they said if you'll send us 4, we'll give you a discount on all 4. So we did 4, and then in those days we actually sent them. We were using PageMaker, and we sent them the PageMaker file because we had no idea how to make PDFs, and they made the PDFs and did the whole thing or printed it from PageMaker. Then they sent us blue lines. And these blue lines are huge versions of the book that were all kind of painted blue on this special paper. I don't know why they're blue lines. It has something to do with showing the coloration, the black versus white on the ink, and I don't know the technical behind it. But we had to go through page by page on these blue lines, and then approve them with these approval sheets and say we needed this change to that change. And somewhere in the mailroom, I found them not too long ago. We've got blue lines for the Lost City of Gaxmore.
Oh, really?
Malady of Kings.
Wow.
Yeah, we got a Canting Crew. We've got quite a few of the blue lines still left. Some we sent back, but a lot we kept. And that evolved from the blue lines. That kind of evolved into, I guess they dropped the blue lines at one point, and they would just send, as POD became part of a thing, they would just send a sample of the book that was uncut. So, and it might be cut, but if it was cut rough. Right. And then you could go through that to see what it was going to look like. And then it changed from that, and that was okay. That was interesting. And I've got some of these. The covers would be on these big 4-layered sheets, so you could peel each layer off, and it was a big process of going through this to approve that. And then it went to PDFs, and then from PDFs now we're at like on Walsworth. I've got a portal. Right. You've done it many times.
Yes, I have.
You log on, and there's your book, all digitally set, and you go through it, and there's lines everywhere to tell you where it's going to be cut and where it's going to fold, and you hit approve or disapprove and move on. So that process alone, we have watched it change from, and blue lines are, I believe, blue lines come from when they were, and I could be wrong on it, but come from when they were doing slate.
Okay.
I think. So we're talking really old world, old world technology.
Yeah, that's old.
Yeah, into this era where it's beyond digital, right? And now we're watching, and Tim is heading this up. We're watching it go beyond even that, and into things like the World Anvil, where your book is broken to pieces, and its consummate parts are thrown into wherever they need to be, and the way you access it is very, very different than what I did back in 1977 when Davis was running me in a game, and I had 17 characters killed in one night. So it's really the world has changed quite a bit since we've been doing it. Did you find any information on it?
I just found the glossary of what it means. I have to look up and see what's the
whole thing. Yeah,
it's
very interesting. It's just the progress that we've made. And much like I'm doing now, trying to figure out what's going to work and what's not going to work, what technological innovation do you follow? That's been a challenge that we've lived through a lot. And if you remember the day of the modules, will you guys go back to producing smaller modules like adventures and not just the huge, expensive book adventures? Absolutely. So, funny you should say that. We're 2 weeks late on it. We'll be 2 weeks late on Monday. But I've kind of, in the last couple of years, we got so caught up here at Solo Games and doing these large projects and some of them were just monstrously huge, that we set aside doing small adventure pieces. I think Davis did some little one-shots that were, downloadable. But when I was going over the inventory, doing the inventory for taxes in December, I noticed quite a deficit in just little bitty adventures. We used to do them all the time, and we hadn't done any. And I started going back, and when the last one, we had done 1 last year, and I think 2 in 2018, and I immediately got Tim on the phone, and I was rather angry. Got Davis on the phone, and then so Davis immediately wrote. He wrote a stranger among us. We've got the cover done, the art's done, the maps are done. It just needs to, and Peter's laid all of it out. I just got to assemble a little bit of it, and that's going to roll out. So we're going to do, and that's going to be a 4-part series. I've talked to Jason, and we've got Mike Stewart doing a little bit. Hopefully we can get him onto the CNC bandwagon. And then I've got something I'm doing. Steve Zero. I'm doing an introductory adventure to the Darkenfold. Yeah, we had a few requests for that.
Okay. So a prequel.
Yeah, prequel. The C1 starts you actually at second to fifth level.
Okay. So it's
not. Yeah, you really need
something to go. Well, that's cool.
Why I wrote that for a long time. Who knows? So the answer is yes. That's coming very soon, and you'll see hopefully by Monday. Of course, we've got the Kickstarter going on, and GaryCon Virtual and World Anvil supposed to launch soon.
We're doing a few things to try to get the API correct, but it's ready to go for what we have, and Patreon's ready. But for now, people can go check it out free.
Okay. So there's just so many things going on, and then this virus that's kind of rolled across the planet has interrupted. Not necessarily, we haven't been impacted by it tremendously, but it's just, it becomes a time sump. Like we're all looking at the news, trying to figure out if somehow if we watch what's on the news channel, it'll fix it.
Yeah.
It's not going to fix it. So.
I know, we were just having this discussion out there.
I
don't need to know. In fact, psychologists have been saying that you should probably look at the news maybe once or twice a day.
That's probably a healthy,
just not be so obsessed with the crime.
And it's funny, too, because you don't really realize it. It hit me Monday, I think. I could tell that I wasn't working as much.
Right.
I was drifting over to whatever news site. And I got angry at myself because it's costing Trollord time, and we've got lots of projects that we're working on.
Right.
And adventures are definitely one of them. So yes, you're going to see that in the very, very, very near future, without a doubt. That may be one we're experimenting with a layered. I can't remember. I don't with the layered PDF. So it may even have a little trick to it.
Hey, Douglas, last 70 days. The writer's guidelines are up, actually. They are on the website.
Yes.
If you go to the Contact Us section, you'll see the disclosure form and the writer's guidelines. Now, we don't have the third party up yet.
Not yet.
But we'll do that. Well, if Perry will start bugging us about that one, we'll get it done, sooner than later. But that's true.
So let me answer. So at least 17 characters in one night. So back in those days, so this is going to be like 78 or 79, something like that. And it was really just Davis and I. Davis would run the game, and I'd sit down and make a character and play it. And I played this. I was huge into Tarzan in those days. Tarzan's my favorite fictional character. I love the whole kind of idea behind it. But so I was playing these natives that they just had spears and no armor and a shield and whatnot. And I remember the first one goes out and he gets killed by these spiders. So I made another one, and I wanted to be from the same village. And David was like, So maybe, and then that guy gets killed by the same spiders. And by the third one that got killed by the same spiders, it became this contest of me killing those bloody spiders. And after 17 characters had died, David said, you can't play any more characters from that village. You wiped out the entire male population of the village. I was like, but yeah. That's my record. It was 17 over about 3 hours. It was it was an absolutely brutal evening with my brother. I remember way back in those days when his brain shifted into, he always plays very realistic games. He's an anthropologist by trade, and he loves to read and study about all kinds of society. So when you play in Davis's games, they're built around that type of thing. And I remember when we were playing, I was playing Kane, I think. I had a Vorpal sword. This is way back, 78, 79, whatever. And I rolled a natural 20 against a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and he's reading it, and it decapitated the Tyrannosaurus Rex. I can remember his face to this day. It was just this kind of, there's no way the blade is long enough to decapitate. Yeah. And at that point, realism started eking into his game. It was terrible for me. It was horrible, but it definitely, it was there, and it has remained to this day. Makes for the most enjoyable games I've played. How's it going, Mr. Valor 2017? Thanks for joining us. So real quick, if you haven't followed us, please give us a follow. We sure appreciate it. Just click the follow button and join the fracas with us. Sharpness. There you go. That's the way to do it. I think we missed a question in there. Any thoughts on the glamorizing celebrity gaming aspect of the GaryCon that has crept in? Storycrafter, not really. I think it's wonderful that all of these people feel comfortable enough now to say that they play Dungeons and Dragons or Castles and Crusades or Swords and Wizards, Technical Classics, whatever it is. I think it's kind of cool, and I don't think it does the hobby a disservice in any way. I know that there's some kind of kickback because they get a lot of attention and they tend to take the air out of the room. But you and I both know they really don't. We were gaming before they announced it. We're going to be gaming after they do whatever it is that they do. So we really haven't. It feels like it has because that's what people are talking about. But at our table, we're still gaming. We're still doing what we're doing. Yeah. And if it brings some kind of, I don't know, if it brings younger people in or different people in, it's a good thing because the hobby grows. And anytime the hobby grows, it allows all of the creators out there to do more and to bring more into the hobby, which, kind of ekes its way up into video games and TV shows and, and all of that stuff.
Yeah, we've seen, on that show that GaryCon was on, the
Big Bang Theory?
Big Bang Theory, yeah. I think those are good things.
Yeah, it doesn't, I know that some people in the community get, that show got a little bit of criticism by some gamers, but I didn't think they did it bad. I mean, of course, I'm not easily offended, and I think I absolutely love it. I love the hobby. I've never been one to hide it. I don't care. I game, and I've told people that it's just like playing poker or fantasy football or whatever.
Good press and negative
stuff. So here, I'll give you a little bit of a little story. So Tim and I have known each other for 714 years. A long time ago, I used to go up to Maine, and when I think for about a summer once years ago, and a friend of ours was visiting up from New Jersey, and she's very New Yorkish, whatever that means, city, Broadway, blah blah blah. Well, I like country music, and I really like bluegrass music, and bluegrass is the best country as you get. I like all kinds of music, but I love bluegrass. And I remember I was listening to some of it, and this friend of ours, started making fun of me. And he said to her, that's just like folk music. And that immediately changed the whole tone of it, because she started thinking about it, and it is folk music. Yeah. So folk music is cool. Right. Bluegrass is not. It's the same thing. There's no difference. It's Americana, basically. It's Americana. It really is. So really, it's the language. The lesson here is you got to pick the right word to make it all palatable for everybody. Palatable. Yeah. Palatable. There you go. You say paladin and then. Are the new bloods bringing leftist PC culture with it? No, I don't think so. I think that I have an honest belief that when you look at the United States, 98% of us agree on 98% of everything. There's just a couple of hot button topics that get everyone kind of worked up, and they just get a lot of airtime. So I think most of us just want to, have a job, eat some pizza. At least people leave us alone. So I'm really not too concerned about all of that. Publishers are going to have reactions to things, and they're going to, put something in their books that they think is helpful or whatever, and that's great if that's what you want to do. I remember the funniest conversations I've had, and you're a language guy, you probably know this. There's the pronoun stuff has been flying around, and when I started this, so this is before the celebrity guide, so in the 2000s. They began, as the number of women playing games started growing up, what companies did, and this is mind-boggling, what companies did is they, in examples where they would say, he swings the sword, they changed it to he swings the sword, and then the next example would be she swings the sword, and then the next is he, and the next is she. And it makes for an editorial nightmare, when really, if you want to properly do it, you just say they and their. That's the neutral, right? That covers everything, and you're supposed to be doing that anyway. And we did that early on. I don't know. It's just a crazy world that we live in. Yeah. All right, I think we missed a couple in there. We did. I see. Is Zach Glazer your favorite third-party person to work with? Asking for a friend. I'm guessing, no, it's Phantom Jen. I'm guessing that's not Zach Glazer. We love Zach Glazer. Yeah. We absolutely love Zach Glazer. So for those of you who don't know, he works for Bill Webb over at Frog God Games. He's heading up their World Anvil stuff, right?
He's basically overseeing a lot of that. Now, He's overseeing it. He's not doing the actual.
Okay, he just kind of the overlord. Overlord, I can't do whatever. Yeah, I was thinking cloud. I don't know. I'm not sure what.
Yeah, he's the cloud.
He's just the cloud. Yeah, Zach's all over Facebook. He does a Facebook Live thing, so definitely go over and check out Zach.
Discord, they're on their Discord too.
Yeah, Zach's a great guy. Let's see, is there any plans for an online MMORPG? That can't be how you MMORPG?
MMORPG.
World and Content like Warfare. Dude, yes. You know, we talk about it. We came close a couple of years ago. Tim and I went out to
GDC.
Game Developers?
Yeah,
we went out to GDC and we shopped a lot of the properties around. It had a lot of good feed, a lot of good reactions, and that's still kind of in the works. We would absolutely love to do that, and I honestly think that what Tim is heading out with World Anvil is a step in that direction. It's moving our IP from traditional print and not away from it. We will retain the printing for a long time, but and into a different market with Steam and World Anvil and whatever.
Yeah.
So I'd absolutely love to see that, and it is part of a broader conversation that we are having. We're not really at liberty to talk about, but it's part of a whole package deal. I'm totally confused who they're talking about. I know, Celestian. It was crazy when I was reading it. It was just, what's going on? I didn't know what was going on. I kept thinking it was flipping, and then when I figured out what they were doing, I thought, because we had just done our publishing, I thought this must be an editing nightmare because your pronouns changing constantly, and it's too much.
If you did that, I would not want to edit any of your
it's
stuff.
not good. When the and there is, there and them is, it's there.
Yeah.
Right? That was a really complicated for me to put together.
Yep.
So, it was crazy. But, good intentions, that's what it was. It was good intentions, to make everybody feel like we're at the table. And you don't want anyone to feel excluded. That's just crazy. If everyone's trying to do something, and really the tools at hand are already there. You don't need to go beyond it. Zach Blazer, we love him. And Fogelberg folk music rules. Gordon, that's some.
Yeah.
That's some old folk music
right
there.
Yeah.
That's some old folk music.
Gordon Lightfoot, he had that song.
Wreck of the Edmund
Fitzgerald. Yeah.
I love that song. Oh my God, I love that song. Now he's not the one that did Taxi. Who did Taxi?
No, Harry Chapin.
Harry Chapin. Man, there was some good music back then.
That's a good song.
Over 60 years, yeah. We're not far behind you there, buddy.
Not too far.
AD&D, he's still doing AD&D. Hey, it's a fantastic game. I played basically 2 games, Castles and Crusades and Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I tried the 3rd edition. Haven't got into 5e yet. I need to sit down and play a little bit, see how that flows. But we'll see. Yeah, huge AD&D guy. To let you in on a little Trollord secret, so back when we created Castles and Crusades, and I've probably told this story enough, it's not a secret. When we created it, we were still running an AD&D game. This is in 2003, 2004. I was running the game, and we released in 2004, 2005. And deep into 2005, we were still running the AD&D game. And 2 of the people at my table, Matt Golden and David Chenault, they created Castles and Crusades. And Matt told me that they weren't going to let me run the game anymore if I didn't at least try C&C. If I wouldn't give up AD&D for a few games and try C&C. So I did, and I haven't looked it up. I played C&C since because it takes AD&D and kind of removes the nebulous areas and lets you focus on it really easily. But check all that stuff out if and when you climb. I was wondering if you could address the challenges present in terms of cultural appropriation and gaming. Do you find yourself shying away from representing certain cultures? No, I don't really. I think that conversation has become strained. We've become very sensitive, and I think that if you shy away from presenting other cultures, then you actually do that culture a disservice. Let's just take Korea, for instance. It's got a very rich and vibrant history, and all tied up in their own languages and their religions and mythologies and all of these interactions with their neighbors and all of these things. And if you refuse to actually do anything with that, then it's kind of a disservice to that. And anthropologically speaking and historically speaking, our species, Homo sapiens, have been trading stuff and doing things and swapping ideas since we were kicking rocks in the desert somewhere. So I guess I don't worry about it too much. we've never really caught any flack for it. And on the other side of that, we do most of what we do is fantasy, so we don't do, aside from the Codex mythology stuff, that's pretty,
Right.
pretty, you know, that's Greek, Roman, whatever. So we kind of don't worry about it too much. Like I said, I do think it's you get to a point where you're insulting this other culture by not, you know, using what they have. Anything along the lines of a Western motif, Boot Hill or Deadlands genres. You know, and with the big picture thing for Trollord Games, there's Castles and Crusades, our fantasy game, and Amazing Adventures is becoming the big tent for all the other genres. Amazing Adventures is a pulp game, so when we redo Star Siege, it'll be under Amazing Adventures flag, and then we'll do Tainted Lands will be under that. And I know that there is a Western in there somewhere, but it's not on this year's schedule. Jason Vey, who created Amazing Adventures and wrote it, he heads all of that up, and he's got a plethora of things that he wants.
Plans to go for.
Yeah, it's a mountainous amount of stuff. Very refreshing entry here. Just picked up the CNC Player's Handbook of the Mythology Codex. Incredible stuff. Oh, good deal. Thanks, Barrett.
Thank you.
And definitely, just let me give another shout out. We know that everybody's kind of locked up. Go over to the
Trollord.com /TLG store.
There you go. And you can download the Player's Handbook for free. We're going to keep it up there for another week or so as we muddle through this, whatever we're muddling through. And there's some fiction there too. Get your family together and start playing. It's all you really need to play. Wonderful guys. It sounds like so much is ready to roll. Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's one of the reasons that the coronavirus is impacting my workload. It's driving me bonkers, and I got to fix that. Oh, good deal. I'm glad, Joe. I hope you enjoy it. I think you'll find the game is crazy simple, which is good. In fact, I'm running 6 tonight, right?
Yeah.
Right here. Yeah, on the internet.
Yeah. On the whole internet.
It's going to be crazy.
Thanks for the follow, Darkman Doug. Yeah, no, we're going to be doing that at 6 o'clock tonight. And then there's a bunch of CNC games out there that people are running all over the weekend. I think Chuck has a list for people if they want to go find. I don't know if you can register for games. I don't know if you can play games or how that works. Honestly, I don't know, but just go out and try to game with people. You can go to our Discord and find a list of what we've got available, I think.
Okay. Wolfgang Bauer, is that who you're going to get? Nice.
Yeah.
Do it. So Chuck, let me get a shout out to Chuck here, Chuck Babunski here on the chat room. What did I say?
Chuck Goomba.
Sweet, Chuck Goomba. So he's managing all of this for us. He's got us on Twitch and making all of this stuff happen. Tim's doing a lot of it, but I don't. But he's over here. He on the other monitor. He's giving me instructions and Tim instructions. What we're not doing. What not to do. Right. So if you see me stop, it's because I'm trying to figure out what Chuck's telling me to fix in my mess. So, and good deal. I'm glad, Lucky. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. And that's just out for everybody to help you kind of weather this whatever you call it, storm that we're in.
Right.
The virus storm that's plaguing the West. So anyway, as we're sitting here jibber-jabbering about it, I want to do another huge shout out to the staff and crew at GaryCon. They've done a fantastic job in taking what was a physical convention 2 weeks ago, picking it up and moving it into a virtual environment. Bringing it into a virtual environment and making it work. And I think Luke said they had over 1,500 attendees, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, they have done such a fantastic job doing this and making all of this happen. So kudos to them. Very, very, very cool. Yeah, we're all in our nice, comfortable, hopefully comfortable hobbit hole, where there's no. What did he say? There's not a dark dank hole. I can't remember. Something is just great. The Hobbit has the greatest. Or is it? I can't remember any of it. I'm an idiot. It might even be the Fellowship of the Ring. I think it's one of those two where Tolkien is describing the Hobbit hole.
Okay.
Not a. I can't. Someone posted up there. Okay, it's the Hobbit. So Douglas knows it's the Hobbit.
Okay.
Have you ever read the Hobbit? Yeah, The Hobbit's a good book. Filled with the ends of worms. This was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. Yes, that's it. It's a fantastic opening to a book that I clearly could not remember, that I mangled so horribly that, and that means comfort.
Yeah, you paraphrased the hell out of that.
I did, boy. I just took Tolkien stuff and drug it through the mud. I put it in a not hobbit hole. So at any rate, a huge shout out to everybody over at GaryCon. In terms of selling RPGs now and in the future, obviously there are two huge changes recently that have tremendous impact. Could you talk for just a moment on the impact of Amazon and also of crowdfunding? Absolutely. So to give you kind of a bigger picture of things, when I started this business in 2000, when we began actually selling and we got into distribution, in those days, if you look at our sales charts, and they're somewhere safe digitally around here, between 67, if I remember, between 67 and 92 or 93% of our sales came through distribution. Now that meant that we priced it and discounted it and sold it to a distributor, and then that distributor sold it to a retailer, and from there it went out to everybody who was playing RPG. That has completely turned around. We are now looking at distribution sales are probably 3 to 6% of the revenue.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a 100% flip on the way business is done in the last 20 years. It's nothing short of astounding. Kickstarter the crowdfunding is definitely part of that. Amazon is a part of that. Now we got involved with Amazon very, very early on. By 2001, we were selling directly on Amazon through their Advantage program. We have that same thing set up. So interestingly, up until 2 weeks ago, we got a weekly order from Amazon for 20 years. When the virus hit, they actually announced that they're going to stop all kind of third-party stuff so that people can ship medical supplies and whatnot, which is really a cool thing that Amazon did. That was pretty amazing. Not great for ourselves, but good for the country, which is good. So Amazon has actually kind of been a benefit for us, and it's never been a huge thing. It's never been 80 gazillion sales, but it's been this constant, steady flow. So Amazon for us became another retailer. And I don't think it really took the wind out of other retail shops or the distribution market. Probably a little bit, but not a huge amount. eBay did for a little while there once it kind of grew up and everybody was selling everything and they buy in bulk and blah. But the crowdfunding, so what happens next in 2004, now this is for RPGs. Board games are very different. But for RPGs in 2000, they explode in the 2000s. RPGs everywhere. We're all selling huge amounts of RPGs into shops and on Amazon and whatever. And when the bottom fell out, in 2004, 2005, RPG sales dwindled to just next to nothing. And it was literally in a 90-day period. It moved so fast that I was stunned. We actually had Book of Familiars caught in the print cycle. We had already approved 3,000, I think, or 4,000 to print. Wow. And when we sold it sold like 180. It was crazy. I was like, what the? It was a hard couple of years for TLG in those days. But the market began to retool itself. And I remember in, 08 or 09 or something, Aldo Giatti, a good friend of ours over at Impressions now at Flat River, started talking about this thing called Kickstarter. And I wasn't that interested in it. I thought, that's crazy. Nobody's going to do that. I was wrong, clearly. Clearly that wasn't the right to go. But Kickstarter seemed to, within a few years, once we got into it, and other publishers like Frog God and Goodman Games, it seemed to actually replace the distribution market. Now, the way it worked is I would put a book idea together and get some art together, and then I would put this forward to distributors. If it didn't get any sales or any response, if retailers didn't pick it up, I could drop it, right? I didn't print it, I'm out. So that was the pre-order system. If they pre-ordered your book within 90 days, you could tell what you were going to sell. You would have thousands of pre-orders based off of what retailers would do. So you kind of had an idea of what to do in a print run. And that was the value of the distribution center. When the distribution center collapsed, and the distribution system collapsed in 04 and 05 for RPGs, we had no way of pre-ordering. Anything that it was literally shooting in the dark. And you don't want to do low print runs because you get price breaks at like 1,000 and 5,000 and whatever. So we couldn't do low print runs. We still had to do big print runs, but we were literally just shooting in the dark. When the crowdfunding came along, that actually gradually and then very quickly replaced the whole pre-order system, because we could put something online, we could tell what kind of if people wanted it or didn't, and I think we've only canceled one project actually.
Yeah.
And you could actually know that there was actually a market for something. People were interested in idea X. And by 012, that's not right.
No.
12, you don't say 012, do you?
You do if it's the year 012, but I don't think
I guess it's not
that's a
the year.
long time from now.
That's past. That's a couple.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, not a long time from now. Well, I guess it is 3,000.
Can be.
Yeah. Right. I don't know. Anyway, so 2012, whatever that would be, about in that time frame, you're seeing this crowdfunding, Kickstarter specifically, replacing the pre-order. And I know that many publishers will say that it's not doing that, but it does. We all do it. This is a way we can gauge if the product has interest. And then, if your Kickstarter, even if it funds but it doesn't do well, you can do a lesser print run on it, and it minimizes your risk as a publisher.
Yeah.
So the crowdfunding, I don't think through any plan of the crowdfunderies, it replaced a very vital part of our industry that had collapsed and was leaving and had left publishers for 3 or 4 or 5 years just in the dark, not able to know what what to do. And those were hard years, let me tell you, because that was also during the recession of 07, and that it was just tough. Now we don't use Indiegogo is a little different, and you might be able to talk a little bit about Indiegogo and some of the other crowdfunding.
Well, those allow you to keep the funds that you've made so far. That's the biggest thing I think about Indiegogo. We did a bunch of research on them when we were getting into it, and honestly, Kickstarter had the power. I know Bill at Frog God will do.
He does Indiegogo pretty good.
Yeah, he does short runs. I mean, he's doing short adventures, right? He's not doing anything.
Yeah, well, see, and that's the other side to. No, you're dead on. That's what Bill's doing with that. And the other side to the market's changing, and it has something to do with the value of the dollar, the number of retail stores, and all of these things. Smaller books, it's harder to make a profit on smaller books because going up and down the channel, nobody's making enough profit to make a $5 or a $7 book profitable for a retailer. If a retailer can't make money, he's not going to carry it. So the retail shop's out. Once the retail shop's out, you've lost that entire channel. And that's why you saw about the same time Kickstarter explodes, you see the little adventures disappearing. They just go off the market. Other than the only people doing it was Goodman and Frog Dog.
Yeah.
We did some, but we also began shipping bigger books. So the price point became a big thing and a big part of it. And of course, Kickstarter kind of calls for a bigger book and a bigger price point. It's a big whole thing, and it's part of this. What we're talking about selling RPGs in now and in the future. The crowdfunding has definitely, in some respects, replaced a long generated part of the industry that is gone. My guess is forever. The distributors, even if they attempted to rebuild a pre-order system, the system that we have now, and everybody's using it, is so effective that there's almost no reason for us to kind of participate in a pre-order system in that regard. So you have literally, if you've been watching the way RPGs are done in the last 15 years, you've watched a major shift in the sales and marketing of I don't think it's a commodity. I think commodities are like steel.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a commodity, but
whatever. It's something fancy. It's somewhere up in there. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Valor. So holler any questions that you have. If you just picked up a Creative Thief PDF looking for something to convert to my homebrew system, and the premise looks good. Yeah, Davis wrote that one. A short little brutal adventure. You'll like it. Anything Davis writes is usually pretty brutal. He likes to rough up characters pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
His kids beat him up.
Oh yes.
He's got to take it out on somebody else.
His kids are something. I love them all, but they are filled with energy. All right, so that's what we're talking about.
We've done some of the past, we've done the present, and we've done some future. We've kind of mishmashed of all of it.
Yeah, that's kind of how we're going to do it. So I'm going to step out for like a minute and
Yeah.
and address that,
Okay.
and let you talk about World End.
Okay. All right.
So this is the future.
Yeah.
This is the future. I'm leaving.
I've never been called that
I
before.
go back to the future.
So I'll talk a few minutes while we go on to future Tim. Don't tell my wife that. But we started doing World Anvil a while back. Chuck is actually the one that brought that to us, and he said, I think we can make something out of this for the world of air, because it is such a vast world and has a lot of history behind it. And Steve had written all of it. Oh my God, that's horrible. I was trying to find a copy of it. Here we go. Codex of Air. There it is. You can see it. It's quite a large book, and so it's got all of the history, the mythology, everything about it is in this wonderfully heavy and large book. So we decided we would try to put this online because Chuck said, you can do this. And we also had a wonderful band of volunteers who would help us out, and they've become priceless to me. A lot of you are in here now. Wayne is in here. I think he is maybe getting ready for the game. Wayne and Perry, Moondog, Ultra Magnus, all these guys that have names that aren't their real names. That's my only beef about this, is I have to remember too many names. It makes my head hurt. But everybody's been pitching in, and we all took a bit of the world and put it in. Actually, we started out, on Bakes Off, of course, and we started actually putting in, I'm sorry, can you explain quickly what World Anvil is? I have heard of it, but don't really know what it is. So World Anvil is basically a website started by, I don't know the last name, so Demetrius and Janet. Janice. Anyway, they started this for her she was a writer, and she wanted to have some place to put her world fantasy stuff in. And so basically they took this site, started building places for you to build your world. So if you have your own world setting, you can go to World Anvil right now and set up your own space for free. Now, it comes, obviously, with everything else. You do more, you can get more. We are a SAGE member, so we're allowed to develop a lot of different things with it. So we started taking our world and putting it on World Anvil. And I didn't really understand how it worked. I'd done some web design before, but I didn't know quite how we were going to make this thing work on there. So talking to Steve, talking to Chuck, what was the best way to do this? And so I started with the adventures, thinking we should put the adventures in, but we started realizing that the adventures, well, they're great to have in, but you got to put all these links in for like whatever town they're in or anything else that's in there. And yeah, Perry, so you at least have your real name there. I like that. So we pulled back from that. I think it was Wayne who told me finally that I was being an idiot, and we needed to just go back and do all of the regular stuff first. Go ahead and put the mythology, the history, the languages, the peoples, all of these things in. Then we can link forward to that. Now, another big part of this are the maps that you can put in. Like the World of Air is huge, and a lot of it is unexplored or undiscovered. But what we do have is the lands of Ursul. And so you click into that, and you can even go, there are 9 maps for the lands of Ursul. So each part of those have its own area and own stuff in it. So then when you take that and you tree down another set of maps, you've got a, like, let's say the best one example I take is our Darkenfold. And I wish I had this set up. If you'll come next Wednesday, we'll have the World of Air on World Anvil set up. And we can show you guys the maps and stuff. I can just show you the website as we're going along. But that really can kind of get people in there. You can go in and see the whole map of Darkenfold, which is very sort of particular. It's got a lot of different places in it, locations, settlements, and things. And you can click on those, and it'll take you to an article about it. So basically, you're going to be able to take all of the World of Air that's there now and put it in there. And so we've gotten all of the sort of background material in, and now we're working on the adventures. And we've started, Bakesoft has been helping assign people to adventures. I think the C series is almost all the way up. We're going to start working on the A series before that. And then we will go to probably S is in there, right?
Yeah, I think S is next.
S is next, and then we'll start putting in the rest of it. And, you know, it's just a wonderful place for you to be able to take a look at what our world looks like, and it will allow you to start playing in the world of Eric. You can take your own stuff. If you've got your own adventures, you can set it in Eric. You can go in. And so, yeah, I encourage you to check it out. It's everything for right now is free. We're always going to have a free section in there, but eventually it'll be tiers. But until we lock that down, you can go check out everything we've got going, and we'll see. You know, you can see what we're doing. So I mean, this comes back all the way from.
I don't think I'm social distancing.
Oh. But here, come on.
I'm not very good at social distancing. I don't know what's going on. All right.
That's all right. I knew that pretty much if I get sick, you're gonna get sick.
Yeah,
It's whatever.
We're just deal with it when we cross that.
Right. But anyway, it comes all the way from you writing it down on paper to now.
Yeah.
You can go to the map and you can click on, you know, the world of Eric and go to the Southwest Lands of Ursel, and go to or Lands of Ursel, then the Southwest Lands of Ursel, and then to the Darkenfold, and then you can go to Innsmeet. Go to Innsmeet and say, oh, okay, this is kind of interesting. And you realize there's an adventure that's in Innsmeet. Click on that. And
it's going to be like NPCs there, too.
Yeah, NPCs and all sorts of material, you know, anything that's connected to it, like in C6, which is Innsmeet, Otto's in there. So if you want to know a little bit about Otto, to me it's a lot like the way I was talking about how I watch shows now.
Oh, right.
I want to know more about this, so if there's an actor in there, I go, who is that? I really don't know who that is, so I'll stop, go read about it. You can do that. You can go see a picture of Otto if it's not right where you're reading, but you wanted to refer, you know, to it or read about more about it. And you can do that, pick it up from so many different spots, kind of the Wikipedia of the world of Eric.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
You know, back in, it's going to be 05 or 06, I can't really remember now. I used to go all the time to the Gamma Trade Show. Now, the Gamma Trade Show is a trade show in Vegas that board game makers, RPG game makers, really tabletop game makers go to sell their wares to distributors and retailers and to make everyone aware of what you're doing. And I remember that James Massick, I think is his name. We weren't great friends, but I knew James for a long time. And he came to me and he pitched this idea that he had that he was going to set up this online shop where people could download PDFs and of your books and play the game. And I was like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Nobody's ever going to do it. So I didn't sign on at all. And then next year, the PDF market exploded all over the place. And he came back to me and I said, yes, I'll sign on. So a year or 2 years later, really, we got into that. And it's funny to look. Of course, my knee-jerk reaction to people want, you know, pulp in their hand, to from that being so wrong that people like PDFs, to the World Anvil is an astounding leap because we're basically not even looking at a book anymore with the same information.
Yeah.
It's not even a book format. It's all over the place, and it's pretty astounding.
You remember me? You know who Tom Bodett is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he did this story. He wrote it linear, but in one of his shows, he sits there, he takes it and just throws it up in the air, and then he would go and take a piece of it and read it to you. And that's what I think about with World of Eric. I always think it's kind of exploded, right?
Yeah.
It's exploded, but every part you look at refers you back to the other part. You don't just go, I don't know what the hell this is.
Right.
You can go, okay, well, this relates to this just by clicking on this link.
There's some connecting tissue.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to
So it's looking when you watch, kind of talking about what we're talking about, moving the company in direction from blue lines in the woebegone days to having to retool our own marketing, or not even marketing, but the way we produce and release things to subscription-based internet services. And that even brings out, I remember when so much of our material was distribution and we set up our first store, I used a program called Trellix, and I created this website. I got a hold of a very small startup company called PayPal, and we set up an account with them, and we put the PayPal in They had little buy now buttons, and they had explaining how to put the trellis, the HTML button with the trellis, and we were selling stuff online, and we would sell them next to nothing, $20 a week or whatever it was, I don't know. But somewhere in the middle of that, people began to get accustomed to buying things online, probably because of Amazon, but eBay too. And it seemed to be overnight that people wouldn't buy online, and then they would buy online. We suddenly, all of us collectively got comfortable with this new venue. Because I remember when we started that stuff back in 02, 03, whatever it is, the thing that you would say is, I'm not putting my credit card online. That type of thing.
Yeah.
Ironically, in those days, it was harder for a hacker to get your credit card than now. Now they seem to have complete access to everything. Yeah. But so that's kind of changed. And when you look at the way people have become very comfortable with online commerce, TLG's lived right through that, from the point that we were still getting checks. I mean, a lot of our sales were from checks.
Yeah.
If you look at the books from back in 01, it's checks. I took checks to the bank and deposited because they would come in envelopes. And now we're looking at the subscription-based services like World Anvil and something else. I think there's something else we're doing a subscription-based.
Well, Patreon is, World Anvil is on that.
There's no telling us. We're being yelled at.
Probably on yeah.
Okay. So at any rate, it's just we've evolved. The company's evolved with it. We've tried to keep up with it. My kind of reluctant nature to experiment with insane things that are insane to my head has probably kept us back just a little bit. And Twitch is another perfect example. We've had this Twitch channel for a while, but didn't do anything with it until Chuck came on board and kind of browbeat us into it. And here we are, in this whole new medium of communicating with everybody out there, fellow gamers, and all of us that are sitting at the same table. It's been an astounding journey. Really.
And it sort of takes some of that, it takes somebody sometimes from the outside, because you're doing your thing all day,
right.
I'm doing my thing all day. Hard for us to see beyond that. Yep. But someone comes out and says, you guys should try this. And usually we're pretty good about trying things. I like that about this company.
Yeah, you're better than me.
I know.
You're being generous. Tim's just being nice at this point.
But I think it's never a good idea to poo-poo an idea, because you don't know where it's going to come from.
No,
you don't know what the next. Because you're talking about earlier, about Amazon. We got into Amazon long before we did it. We got into PayPal long before we did. Just imagine if we bought stock in those companies.
No kidding. Yeah, now I want to throw. I'm not gonna take credit for any of that. Yeah. So that was Matt Golden that did that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So when we started, way back whenever, I remember Mac. In those days, Mac ran the company from 2000 to 2002 or 2003. The forward games was actually originally Matt Golden's idea. He came to me and said, "Hey, I want to form a company," and we did, and then David did. And both of them eventually left by 2004, so the company became mine, blah, blah, blah. But Matt Golden, actually, I remember him saying, I don't remember physically, but I remember that he said to me, hey, there's this little company called Amazon, and I said, oh, I know Amazon, I buy books from them. Yeah. Because in the beginning, they just sold books.
I remember that.
And it was a great place to get books. And he goes, yeah, I want to set up an account so we can sell our books. And I said, great. So 20 years later, we're using the same account. Nice. Crazy. I mean, that's totally crazy. And PayPal is the same thing. He said there's some kind of online service. They just started to let people buy stuff online. It's called PayPal. And he set it up with PayPal. So none of the technological innovations are mine. They're from Max and Tim and somebody else's. They weren't.
That's true. You would probably just still be here going.
Yeah.
Writing out your book.
You're right. On some kind of crazy thing. What troller and siege engine material is the best fit for a Blade Runner Road Warrior type future world RPG? It's going to be Amazing Adventures. Definitely Amazing Adventures, and the Star Siege supplement that comes with that. But Amazing Adventures is kind of a toolkit that allows you to blossom into whatever kind of setting that you're building. And it's got everything that you need. And then if you wanted even a little bit more zeroed in, Star Siege. And that may still be for free on the site. There was a down.
I think there is.
The rule. We're working on Star Siege. It'll be out later this year. The full box set will be out later this year. But Star Siege is, I believe you can get it downloaded online. Just go to our store and type in Star Siege. I think it's still free.
Yeah. Was there any more? Okay, yeah, there was. Are we going? No. You want to handle that?
Are you guys still going to Gen Con? Know that a lot of industry folks are nervously eyeing the situation. I think it's across Well, we actually backed out of Gen Con about in 2017 was the last time we went. We bowed out of Gen Con. The show had become so very, very large and so very, very expensive that Troll Lord games and RPGs in general were getting kind of sidelined. And it was time to find different, more fertile fields to dive into. And so we branched out and began doing a bunch of small cons at that point. Sadly, Tyler Morrison, who was heading that up, had to leave the company last year, so Chuck's slowly kind of bringing us back up to speed and trying to get us back into some conventions. But at the moment, Gen Con's not on our radar. We still have a mountain of points over there, so if we do go back, I know we can get in, but I don't know where we are. And as for this year, I don't know if they're going to do it. I mean,
right now, I think that's what everybody's wondering is they're going to
Origins is going to be really in the crosshairs because it's June, at least. Gen Con is in August, and I think we'll have a handle on this by then, but it's as to whether they want that to go on. You guys use Field of Battles in your home games. Once in a while we do. Field of Battles is a great book written by 𝚃𝚘𝚘𝚕𝚔. I use the stripped down version. It's in a Castle Keeper's Guide. Man, we need to get Douglas.
Yeah, I know.
All right, Chuck, you looking at Douglas? He's last saying it.
Because there's a convention out in Colorado that just happened not too long ago.
I used to go to Colorado. I went to 4 cons out there. Same one, Genghis Con. Great.
Is it Cobalt Con?
Oh, that's right.
I think it's out that way because Tim Baker, a friend of ours, he's going out there.
Yes, I don't use it often, but when I do, it's a stripped down version in the CKG. It's a great book, absolutely great book. 𝚃𝚘𝚘𝚕𝚔 wrote that.
So I need to. Hey, Alex, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. So
Alex,
we are going to finish up in a few minutes. What we're going to do is we are going to raid someone in this household.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we're going
to hit Pete.
𝚃𝚘𝚘𝚕𝚔.
But we need to remind you folks that we're going to come back here in 30 minutes. Go bug him for 30, and then we've got the game at 6 o'clock. So go do what he's about to say, 𝚃𝚘𝚘𝚕𝚔, that's what it is. But then come back at 6 o'clock to watch it. Or if you prefer, watch him.
Yeah, so we're going to do a raid on 𝚃𝚘𝚘𝚕𝚔. That's my son. He's got his own stream, and he's doing some kind of first-person video game shooter. It's awesome to watch them just shoot the living crap out of it.
Yeah.
And the commentary is usually it's colorful.
Right.
Again, but it's entertaining.
It's a little blue, isn't it?
Yeah. So head over there after the stream. We'll do a raid on them. All right. I think that's probably it. If you have any more questions, throw them over. It's been so it'll be posted here. Is that how that works?
The game?
The raid.
The raid. We're going to try it this way. Are we using Troll Twitch channel for the big game tonight? It's going to be streaming here, but you're going to go on to Discord, and Chuck will meet you over at Discord on our server and set you up to get us in there, and then something magical is going to happen that we figure out exactly what we're doing, and it'll all work out. But if not, we'll still figure it out. But just be patient with us. But just remember, go on over, see Pete for a little bit.
And how does that work, though? Do they get thrown over there? Or
I'm going to say we're done, and I'm going to ask Chuck to raid the channel. And then we're just going to stand here and wait until it happens. And then we're going to say goodbye.
Okay.
You see a second here, it'll say /raid, and then we're gone.
Anyway, so everybody, thank you so very much for joining us today, talking about RPGs and the publishing industry. I know we got a little sidetracked as we always do, but we sure appreciate you guys stopping by and listening to us blather on for
thank
an hour
you so
and a
much.
half.
Yeah, an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. And definitely check out the GaryCon Bazaar. Also, we've got a Kickstarter running on. Check that out. And if you're inclined to give us a follow, please. We appreciate it. And we've got regular shows that are above and beyond, but beyond GaryCon. Right. We do GM's Tricks of the Trade every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. World Anvil Wednesdays at 1 Central Standard Time. And Tuesdays 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, we do Ask Me Anything. Man, that's exhausting. And and just come
hang out on our channel. Hopefully something will be on. We're going to be adding more stuff. And look, we're gone. I think we're leaving. So,
All right, so everybody, good night, whatever.
Good night.
I don't know where you are. So it works for some of you.
meet us over at Pete.
Yeah, thanks. Is he supposed to say end stream or something? I think he's supposed to say end stream.
Okay. Do we need to?
No, he does that. We don't
he
do
does
any-
that?
Yeah, we don't do anything.
Oh,
Chuck
yeah, I
told me
do
to-
my own.
Chuck told me not to do anything.
Okay.
Turn it off. So we'll be leaving here in just a moment.
Stream.
Everybody have
All right.
have a good evening, guys.
Take care.
Stay safe.